Go stand in front of your refrigerator and open it. About a third of what's in there you're going to throw away. Not because you're careless, because nobody ever showed you how to keep it. That's $1,500 a year for a family of 4, straight into the trash can under your sink. Some folks put it higher. And the money's not just in the food. It's in the 12 bottles of specialty cleaner under that sink, the pan you replace every 2 years, the appliance running at half its ability because of a job that takes 11 minutes and costs nothing. Your kitchen is bleeding money in about 9 places at once, and every one of those leaks is free to plug. You already own what you need. So today, 15 kitchen tricks that feel like cheating. These aren't recipes, and this isn't about shopping. This is about the room itself, keeping what you already bought, and making what you already own do the job you paid for. Number 1 is the biggest money saver on the list, and it takes 15 minutes a week. Let's go. Number 15. Bring the dead vegetables back. Celery gone rubbery, carrots you can bend, lettuce that's given up. Most people look at that and think it's spoiled. It's not spoiled. It's thirsty. There's a difference, and the difference is real money. Cut a fresh sliver off the bottom of the celery or the carrot, stand it up in a jar of cold water, put it in the fridge, and leave it a couple hours. Overnight is better. It drinks. It comes back crisp. Wilted greens, dunk the whole lot in a bowl of ice water for 15 minutes and watch them stand up. Rubbery means water left. Slimy, dark, smells sour, that one's gone, put it in the trash. I'm not going to tell you different. But limp isn't gone? Limp is a vegetable asking for a drink of water. And most people throw it out because it hurt their feelings to look at. Number 14. Bread does not belong in the refrigerator. I know. Everybody does it. Everybody's wrong. And the bread companies are not going to write you a letter about it. Here's the thing nobody tells you. That cold in your fridge, that exact cold, just above freezing, is the worst possible temperature for a loaf of bread. The crumb tightens up and dries out faster in there than it would sitting on your counter. Not a little faster, several times faster. You put it in the fridge to protect it, and you aged it a week and 2 days. Counter for what you'll eat in 3 days, in a bag or a box, out of the sun. Everything else goes in the freezer. And freeze it sliced, so you pull out 2 pieces at a time instead of thawing the whole loaf and starting the clock over. Straight from the freezer to the toaster, still frozen. It comes out like the day you bought it. The fridge is the one place that loaf must not go. That's the whole trick. Number 13. Save your butter wrappers. When you finish a stick of butter, don't throw the paper away. Fold it in on itself, put it in a bag in the freezer door, and keep a little stack going. That's your pan greaser. Cake pan, muffin tin, skillet, casserole dish, wipe it out with a butter wrapper. There's more butter left on that paper than you think, and it's exactly enough. They sell a spray for this. $3, $4 a can, mostly propellant, and it builds up a sticky varnish on your good pans that you will never get off. Don't buy it. You already threw away today's for free. By the way, small keeping tricks like that one. I've got a whole book of them. Every method I use to run this kitchen and this house for less, all written down in one place. It's on my website. The link is right under this video. Go grab it if you want it. I won't bring it up again. Number 12. Stop letting a bunch of herbs rot in the crisper. You buy parsley for one thing. You use a third of it. 10 days later, there's a black slick in the bottom of the bag. Every single time. 2 ways out, and I use both. The soft ones, parsley, cilantro, dill, trim the stems and stand them in a jar of water on the counter or in the fridge, like a little bouquet, loose bag over the top. They'll go 2 weeks like that. The rest of the bunch, chop it, pack it into an ice cube tray, cover it with olive oil, freeze it. Pop the cubes into a bag. Now, a Tuesday in February, you drop 1 frozen green cube in the pan and there's your herbs. That's a $2 bunch turned into 15 meals instead of 1 in a bag of slime. Number 11. Some of your produce is talking to the rest of it. Apples, bananas, tomatoes, pears, they breathe out. Something that tells everything nearby to hurry up and ripen, and then hurry up and rot. You can't see it, you can't smell it, and it's why your whole bowl turns at once. So, bananas by themselves, on their own, away from everybody. Apples in the fridge, not in a bowl next to the tomatoes. Tomatoes on the counter, never in the fridge. The cold kills the taste and gives you that mealy texture, and you can't take it back. Onions and potatoes in separate places, both dark, both with air. Together, they'll sprout each other in a month. In a paper bag in a cool, dark cupboard, potatoes go for months. In a plastic sack under the sink, 3 weeks and you've got a science experiment. Nothing in that whole section costs a dime. It's just knowing who to seat next to who. Number 10, cheese. And when to cut and when to quit. Stop wrapping good cheese in plastic. It suffocates, and it sweats, and it goes slimy on the surface. Wrap it in wax paper or parchment first, then loose in a bag. It needs to breathe a little without drying out. Cheese lasts twice as long that way, and it costs you a sheet of paper. Now the part everybody wants to know. Mold. On a hard cheese, cheddar, Parmesan, Swiss, you cut an inch around it and an inch below it. Keep the knife out of the mold itself so you don't drag it through the rest and eat the rest. That's not me being thrifty. That's the standing advice. Soft stuff is different, and I want you to hear me. Cream cheese, cottage cheese, ricotta, sour cream, anything shredded or crumbled mold gets through that fast and all the way through. You see it, the whole container goes. No debating it, no scooping the top off. That one's not worth the $4 you'd save. Number 9, quit letting a stamped date make your decisions. That date on the egg carton, the milk, the yogurt, that is not a safety date. It's the manufacturer's guess at when it's at its best. It's a quality date, and people throw out perfectly good food every day of the week because a number told them to. Eggs, you settle it in 10 seconds. Bowl of cold water. Egg sinks and lays flat. It's fresh. Sinks but stands on end. It's older. Use it today. Floats to the top. That one's done. Throw it out. An egg's shell breathes. The inside dries and the air pocket grows. And a bad egg floats because it's full of air. That's the whole test. And it's older than the carton. Milk, the same way, use your nose. It never lies. Your grandmother did not have a printed date on anything, and she did not poison anybody. Number 8, the refrigerator door is the warmest place in your refrigerator. Every time you open that door, the whole shelf on it takes a bath in room temperature air. And it swings all day long, which is why it's a small cruelty that they build a little molded spot for the eggs right there in the door and a rack right there for the milk. The two things in your fridge that most need steady, cold, parked in the one place that can't give it. Milk goes on a bottom shelf toward the back. Eggs on a shelf in their carton, not in the door. Meat on the very bottom, in a dish. So if it drips on nothing. The door is for mustard, ketchup, pickles, jam, vinegar, and sugar and salt, things that can take the swing. Move 2 items tonight. Your milk will start lasting an extra several days and you didn't spend anything. All right, that's 8. And every one of them was about keeping what you already own. From here on, we get into the things in that room that are quietly costing you the most, the appliance you never touch, the pan you keep replacing, and the 15 minutes a week that stops the bleeding for good. Number 7, never buy microwave cleaner. Not once. Bowl, cup of water, half a cup of vinegar, or a squeezed lemon with the halves dropped in. Run it 4 or 5 minutes until the window fogs, then leave the door shut another 2. That steam gets in under everything crusted on the roof and the walls and lifts it right off the surface. Open it up, wipe with a rag, and the whole thing wipes clean like it was never dirty. No scrubbing, no fumes, no product. 3 minutes of work, and the payoff is you never stand there scraping again with a scouring pad. They sell wipes for this at $4 a box. It's water. Number 6, the oven without the can. Commercial oven cleaner is nasty stuff. It's a strong caustic, it burns skin, it will take your breath at the back of your throat, and you're told to open every window in the house and hold the door shut. Anytime a product tells you to evacuate the room, ask yourself what you're spraying on the box your food sits in. Here's mine. Half a box of baking soda, a splash of water, mixed to a paste like frosting. Pull the racks out. Smear that paste over the whole inside, floor and walls and glass, keeping off the heating elements. Leave it overnight. Morning, wipe it out with a damp rag. Spray a little vinegar on the stubborn corners and it'll foam and let go. The baked-on carbon comes away in sheets. The racks go in the bathtub with hot water and a cup of dish soap overnight, then a quick scrub. Whole job costs about 60 cents and you can breathe the entire time. Number 5, the pan you'll leave to your children. Cast iron. Almost every one of you has one inherited garage sale, wedding gift, and it's in the back of a cabinet because it went rusty or something stuck to it once and you decided it was ruined. It's not ruined. Cast iron is the only pan on earth that cannot be ruined. Rusty. Scrub it out with steel wool or coarse salt and a little oil until you're down to gray metal. Then dry it fully, wipe it with the thinnest film of oil you can manage, thinner than you think, wipe it back off until it looks dry, and put it upside down in a hot oven for an hour. Let it cool in there. That's it. That's a rescued pan. Day to day, hot water and a stiff brush while it's still warm. Dry it on the burner, quick wipe of oil. Yes, a little soap is fine. Nobody's grandmother's pan was destroyed by dish soap. Meanwhile, the nonstick pan you paid $40 for is scratched in 18 months and you buy another. That's the business model. A cast iron skillet outlives you. Some of mine are older than my mother. Number 4. A dull knife is costing you food and it's going to cut you. People think a sharp knife is dangerous. Backwards. A sharp knife goes where you point it. A dull one skids off an onion skin and into your thumb. And I don't know a cook who hasn't got the scar. But the money is in the waste. A dull knife and a dull peeler take a thick, wandering peel and half your potato goes in the bin. A dull knife crushes a tomato instead of slicing it, mangles the good meat off a chicken, and every ragged piece gets thrown out. That's food you bought. Get a cheap sharpening stone and learn one angle. Or take your 2 good knives to whoever sharpens in your town. It's a couple dollars a blade and they'll be done while you shop. In between, use a honing steel a few strokes before you cook. That doesn't sharpen. It straightens the edge back true, and it takes 10 seconds. 2 knives is all you need sharp, a chef's knife and a paring knife. The block of 12 was sold to you by somebody who knew you'd never use 9 of them. Number 3, go behind your refrigerator. This is the one nobody does, and it's the biggest single appliance in your house. It runs every hour of every day for 15 years without a rest. Behind or underneath it, there's a set of black coils. Their whole job is dumping heat out of the box. And after a few years, they're carpeted in dust and hair and whatever the dog contributed, choked. So the motor runs longer and longer to do the same work, and you pay for every minute of it. Dirty coils can add a quarter to what that machine costs you to run, and it's the number 1 reason fridges die early. Unplug it, pull the grill off the front bottom or slide the whole thing out. Vacuum, coil brush, whatever reaches, twice a year. And while you're there, the seal. Shut the door on a dollar bill and pull. If it slides out with no fight, that rubber's tired and it's leaking cold into your kitchen all day. Wash the gasket with warm, soapy water first. Sometimes it's just gummed up. If it still doesn't grip, a replacement seal is a fraction of a repair call and it snaps in. 20 minutes, twice a year, on the machine that never stops running. And a repairman would rather you didn't. Okay, number 1 is coming, and it's the one that pays for all the others put together. Before that, if plain talk that actually saves you money is what you're after, hit subscribe and turn the notifications on. Then let's get to it. Number 2, your freezer is a pantry, and you're using it like a junk drawer. 2 rules, and it changes. Freeze flat. Soup, chili, sauce, ground meat, beans into a freezer bag, push the air out, lay it flat on a tray until it's solid. Now it's a tile. Tiles stand upright in a bin like files in a drawer. You can read every one. And a flat bag thaws in 20 minutes instead of all afternoon. Half the food people lose in a freezer is lost because they couldn't see it and label it. Contents and month in marker before it goes in. Every unmarked lump in there becomes a mystery, and mysteries become trash. Freezer burn, while we're at it, isn't ruin and isn't rot. It's dry. Air got at the surface and pulled the water out of it. Trim that gray patch off and eat the rest. Push the air out of the bag and it never happens. One more. A full freezer runs cheaper than an empty one. All that frozen mass holds its cold when you open the door. Got empty shelves? Fill jugs with water and stand them in there. Free, and if the power goes out, they'll hold your food a whole extra day. Number 1, the Eat Me First shelf. This is the one that quietly hands the money back, and it takes 15 minutes on a Thursday. Here it is. Clear one shelf in your fridge eye level, the shelf you can't avoid looking at. That's the only shelf that matters. Once a week, before you plan anything, you go through the whole refrigerator, the crisper, the leftovers, the half onion, the yogurt with 3 days on it, the cheese heel. The sad half of a bell pepper and everything on its last legs comes forward onto that shelf. Nothing hides behind anything. Then you cook off that shelf first, all week. That's the rule. It doesn't take a plan, and it doesn't take a recipe. Odds and ends make soup, they make a skillet supper, they go in eggs, they go on rice. And in the freezer door, keep a bag going for scraps, onion ends, carrot tops, celery butts, the bones off a chicken. When the bag's full, cover it with water, simmer it a couple hours, strain it. That's broth you were throwing in the garbage. That's it. That's number one. Not a gadget, not a container system, not an app, one shelf and one bag. Because here's what's actually happening in most kitchens. Nothing goes bad in the front. It goes bad in the back, behind the milk, where you can't see it. You didn't decide to waste that food. You just lost track of it, and then found it 2 weeks later and were embarrassed, and threw it out fast so you wouldn't have to think about it. Everybody does this. I did it for years. $1,500 a year for a family of 4. That's the estimate. And honestly, in a lot of houses, it's higher. That's a mortgage payment. That's a used car every 4 years. Rotting in the back of a shelf, one forgotten bag of spinach at a time. Now, why doesn't anybody tell you this? Follow the money, and it's not complicated. Every pound of food you throw out, you buy again. Waste is repeat business. Nobody's got a meeting about it. They just have no reason on earth to teach you that the date on the carton isn't a safety date or that cold water fixes a limp carrot. The cleaning aisle's the same story. A whole wall of bottles for jobs that a box of baking soda, a gallon of vinegar, and a kettle of hot water handle for pennies. You can't build a business on baking soda. There's nothing to advertise. So it stays quiet, and you keep buying the spray. And the appliance people, well, a refrigerator that dies in 8 years instead of 18 is a good year for somebody. It isn't a conspiracy. It's just that nobody ever profited from telling you to vacuum your coils. So here's what I want you to do tonight. And it's one thing, not 15. 1. Clear the eye-level shelf in your fridge. Pull everything forward that needs eating this week and put it there. Then this weekend, if you get the time, go pull the grill off the bottom of that refrigerator and see what's living behind it. Then come tell me in the comments, what's the thing that always goes bad on you before you get to it? For me, it was cilantro, for about 10 years running. And if your mother or your grandmother had a keeping trick I didn't cover here, I want it. I read every one of these, and I've learned more from that comment section than I've taught in it. Next time, I'm going to show you how I keep a pantry that feeds this house for a month without a freezer at all. Jars, a cool, dark cupboard, and about 6 things that never go bad. It's how people ate before any of this plugged in. Until then, cook off that shelf and quit letting a stamp number tell you what's food.